So, John, why don't you start by just telling us a little bit about yourself and about the context that you find yourself in?
Well, I'm John and Wendy, my lovely wife, sitting down there. I used to do telecoms for 28 years, and I've got involved with disabled children. We've got a little disabled girl of our own, as well as our 3 grown-up adults. And Summer uses a wheelchair. She's ventilated with a ventilator 24 hours a day. And bundle of joy.
And just tell us, what does a typical week look like for you?
Well, if anybody's been helping me hold balloons at the end earlier on, you can do it again at the end. But we get on with our normal chores, just like any other family, slap and tickle, and just all the sort of typical things. Summer goes to school in the mornings. What we find is we're emptying rubbish, doing the clinical waste, answering the phone, dealing with emails or letters and forms that we've had to fill out for different professionals. And if I didn't understate anything, it would be the level of paperwork, that there is no never-ending paperwork. I can see some heads nodding. Cut the grass just because the children have to play on the grass, but I ignore the rest of the overgrown garden. Those are things that, way down on the priority list. And watching TV in the evening, we hear beeping of alarms. So we pause and go and watch that, and then we hear the milk run out, and then we've got to go and turn the oxygen down. And it's just, we never seem to watch a whole program. So it's busy, to say the least.
And just tell us what sort of a school Summer goes to, and what that is like for her and how that works for her.
Well, Summer loves school. She's really eager to go. She's at a mainstream school just on the edge of Guildford. Summer's got physical disabilities, and that means she just really fits in. She's just a bit smaller, and for long distances she uses a wheelchair. So we had the situation where it took practically a year to get her back into school once she started being ventilated during the day. And having a child at home for a whole year, it's almost like a year's summer holiday, is very draining, but it affects the child because they should be with their friends and learning things. And so the things that typically are normal, just getting to school, children go to school and say they've grazed their knee, ring, ring, could you send them with their swimming stuff tomorrow? There's a whole different order of what it is going to school. Having small battles with education or trying to resolve things with the school to find a way of doing something. So we're just reaching the point now where Summer is beginning to attend full time some days a week, and in a couple of weeks' time she'll actually be full time at school. But this is not down to any fault of her own. It's just getting through the system.
She looks like, just looking at the pictures that were just coming up, she looks like she's a real personality. And look
yes.
Particularly the picture on the left there.
Yes. She's, for her, it's just typical. Having a piece of equipment with her day in, day out, morning, noon and night, it's just like a part of herself. So she'd tug it and drag it, which sort of scares nurses. Oh, don't do that. She likes it. It's like any child. You get the phone out and they want the phone.
Yeah, my son does that. He says, "Where's the iPhone?" You mean my iPhone? No, the iPhone. The same sort of thing, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah. We have to defend our resources.
And what does family life look like for you?
Well, as a couple, I'd say, that's a sensitive thing. the amount of stuff that's going on, just dealing with a number of professionals. They might only want 1 minute at a time in a phone call, but they've just interrupted a nappy change, or you've walked all the way to the phone, and actually they could have sent an email. You didn't have to be interrupted, but you have to fill out a form, or somebody's just visiting once a month or every 6 months. But when you multiply that up, you're drained. So when you come to the watching TV, you're just staring, answering the alarms and the beeping that haven't stopped 24 hours a day. But so we're exhausted, and it's
so you're tired the whole time. You've got alarms going off. You've got a child who looks, on the one hand, a real personality. But do you ever actually get a break? And if you do you ever get a break? Do you ever get a respite, a chance to breathe? And
Summer has personal assistants, and that means that occasionally we can get a weekend away where they are in our house, and it means that all the equipment's there, everything's set up for summer, and we can go for a long walk. We could have lunch together, and I think the most difficult thing is actually trying to discover how to talk to each other again, because everything is just functional. Have you arranged this? Did you do that? So you have a knee-jerk reaction, because it's like a small business. You've got your partner with you, but did you give the 12 o'clocks? Well, nobody signed off the medical chart, and then you get a knee-jerk reaction, and they're just misunderstandings.
And so, I hope you don't mind asking this, a slightly personal question, but how does that work for you as a couple? Because obviously, like you said, can be very functional. So how do you do life just as a married couple with this child that you love, but all the pressure and stuff that comes with that?
I think we have to find people whose shoulders we can cry on, people who we know don't hear us moaning, but realise that we need to let off steam. But it's constantly ships passing in the night, and it is the weekends the way, or if you can begin to build into your routine a lunch or something that you protect, so you can stare at each other quietly and try not to talk about family things, children things, explosions. It's very tough.
And I know you go to church, and how do you think the church can help families in similar situations to yours?
I think it's very child by family, so it's very individual. So if I take it personally, the types of things would be, top of my list would be that 1 hour of somebody looking after our daughter just means we actually don't hear the beeping and the moaning and the daddy and just all the typical children things. We get an hour off. That's valuable. And we often find that we don't go to events, and that could be just because for the well-being of the whole family, it just doesn't, that time didn't work for us. That's when they have their sleep, or, no, that's really to take a wheelchair all the way, just for half an hour, it's not worth it. So we need people to keep inviting us, otherwise we can feel that we're off their radar and we're just slipping behind.
My mother-in-law has MS, so she's in a wheelchair the whole time, which means just access to church buildings can be really difficult. Is that something that you think that the church broadly, I don't know about your own particular church, but that we need to get better at thinking about how we provide access to all parts of the building? Because the classic thing is there's a ramp getting in, and then if they need to go to the loo, there's 3 steps to go down.
Absolutely. If I just think of a church that's got really young, healthy student content, and for me to carry up 10 steps, my daughter on the piggyback, carrying her ventilator, and maybe somebody's helping with the oxygen, okay, I can do it, but I really don't want to bother to. But the choice is to go out of the building, in through the disabled access, and we can sit in one of those 8 seats. There's, the flexibility is very minimal.
Yeah.
And, trying to, if there's a small coffee area, excuse me, it just people aren't aware of people pushing push chairs or wheelchairs around them. So I think when you ask, how are we, you might be shocked to hear our current situation being poured out, and it might sound all dramatic and difficult, but it just came out. Or I might need to be quiet and be left alone, because that's about all I could cope with. Because if somebody was really friendly and tried to have a sort of a calm chat to me, I might pour out my soul, and this might not be the place or the time to do it. But we're so grateful to know that people are praying for us. They just say hi to us, but I know that for the next couple of weeks, that person is thinking about us. That's really valuable.
And so, Rona, just tell us a little bit about your situation. And it's not about a physical disability with you.
No, we have no children with a physical disability. Right. I'm married to Mark. He's not here today. We've been married for 14 years. And I have 2 daughters in their mid to late 30s. And we have 5 grandsons, aged between 12 and just coming up for 20. Wow. And 4 of them are on the autistic spectrum. Okay. All different, but...
So what are the challenges that you face with grandchildren who are, on the autistic spectrum? How does that work?
Well, actually, one of them lives with my husband and I. Our 14-year-old, very severely autistic grandson, Connor, he lives with us and has done since he was about 7 years old. And so we're busy. We're very busy. He's not physically disabled like John's little girl, but he has a lot of challenges. He doesn't speak, for instance. He has some challenging behavior. So we have a different situation. We're the ones who are sort of trying to stop the meltdowns. And we're constantly going to meetings because we do have respite. We're very fortunate. So there are social services meetings and there's school meetings and there's a lot of paperwork. But for us, we don't get to watch the telly because Connor has it in the lounge and he will put it on pause. So we never watch a programme until he's gone to bed.
What's his favourite programme?
Well, you may well ask, really, because I don't know. I think he just likes to put the telly on pause so we can't watch it.
Oh, okay.
That's true. He just loves to do that. He'll turn it on to see BBs usually, and you'll think he's going to watch it, but he isn't really. He's just going to pause it, rather annoyingly, knowing that you then can't watch it.
My wife and I found that actually we had an evening where our children had both gone to bed and we were still watching Third and Bird.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And actually we quite enjoyed it. But you don't even get to enjoy it.
No, we don't even get to enjoy it until he's, we get in the car and we think we'll put the radio on and we're going on a bear hunt. We're going to catch a big one comes on, we're thinking, and sometimes we even catch ourselves forgetting to turn it off because we're just tired.
Sometimes
and
you wish.
Playing.
Did you ever wish that the tape just got eaten or?
Oh, many times. Yeah. Oh, so many times. We have he's addicted to DVDs and videos, along with McDonald's, sadly. And so in our house, in front of our fire, we have about 75 videos in 2 big basket things. The sad thing is we don't have a video player.
Okay, wow.
They just have to be there. And we have about 50 copies, I suppose, of Spider-Man. The same. That's what we do.
If you can have lots of copies of something, Spider-Man's a good thing to have lots of copies of.
Exactly. I can't bear it. And he doesn't watch it.
Yeah.
We don't go to buy the DVD to watch it, you understand. We go to buy the DVD to meet whatever his need is.
Yeah.
We don't do it often these days. You have to learn with learning disabled children that they learn things slowly. And you have to be kind of willing to go at their pace. So gradually, and very gradually, we have begun to wean him off these things. But it takes a lot of hard work.
So I know you come and you worship here.
We do, yes.
And what is the impact of being able to, because I know St Saviour's doing an incredible job in looking after children, adults with additional needs. And so what has the impact been for you as a family, knowing that you can bring him here?
Well, we've wandered churches. We have only been here, I suppose, at St Saviour's for about 18 months now. We've had a bit of a journey with churches with Connor, and it's been a sad journey in many ways. We've had one church, we arrived, we'd never taken him. We thought, well, let's take him to the carol service. It was a very informal affair, we thought. We arrived at the back of the church, and he just wasn't quite happy with a DVD he was holding. The case was there, but the DVD wasn't. And this was a very serious matter to Connor. So he had a bit of a meltdown. Not a big one, but a little one. And the church leader said, would you mind just taking him out? Very angry, very irritated. So that was really sad. We moved on because they just didn't really feel comfortable with him there. We had another church that actually suggested he didn't go. And so we found here. We should have found it 5 years ago, I have to say, because we did actually know about it. We had actually met the wonderful Alison in our home, but we just at that point didn't feel it was the church for us, as it was away. So we came here 18 months ago, and we haven't looked back. It means we can go to church together, Mark and I. We hadn't done that for about 7.5 years.
Wow.
Never been able to go together for all the reasons. You know, church didn't have the facilities, or maybe they felt irritated by his occasional moods. And we just love it here because we can come together. Connor is part of the family. He needs to be part of the family, and they welcome him here with open arms. And I just love it that they don't even mind the chaos when we bring our children up for communion. It's just so inclusive, they're so welcoming, they go out of their way here to make us feel wanted. And I think it's been one of the best things that happened to us as a family.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you so much, both of you, for being so honest about the reality of what it's like to bring up and involve in life and in church children with additional needs. Should we give them all both a big round of applause?